Assalamu alaikum. My name is Muhammad Wajid Zulfkar and my registration ID 16T37. Last time we saw the linear causal and non-causal system. Today in this lecture we are going to explain in more detail the linear and non-linear system. So linear and non-linear system and non-linear system. Last time we just only saw the definition of the linear and non-linear system. What does the linear system? Linear system is that system which follows the principle of superposition. First of all, I am going here to tell you that a linear analysis system. In this video, we will have on two parts, and the next part will be uploaded soon. We discussed that linear system is that which follow the principle of superposition. We know that what is the superposition principle. Superposition principle is that principle which follows the law of additivity and law of homogeneity. Which follows law of additivity, and homogeneity. First of all, let's look its basic diagram. What is the linear system? Linear system is that which follow the superposition principle. What is the superposition principle? Superposition principle which follow the two rule, which is law of additivity and law of homogeneity. What is law of additivity? First of all, let's discuss the law of additivity. Law of additivity is that if we have one input and one output, then we have another input x2 of t and y2 of t. This is our system. When we have one input and passes through the system, then it gives us the output. Then when we have another input and pass it through the system, this gives us the another output. Then the adding of through input and output gives us as y1 of t plus y2 of t. And if after passing this input to the system, we get only these two values. And another thing which is that if we have x1 of t plus x2 of t as input and pass it through the system, then it gives us the y dash of t. Here are the possibilities that our y dash of t that our y dash of t may be equal to y1 of t plus y2 of t, or y dash of t is not equal to y1 of t plus y2 of t. If y dash is equal to y1 of t plus y2 of t, then it shows that our system follows the law of additivity. Then we can say this is the linear system, just for checking the law of additivity. And we till now we just only checking the law of additivity. If this is the correct value, then our system will be linear. If this does not follow the principle, then our system will be non-linear. And next thing, which the block diagram of this system is as that's of all. We have x1 of t, then we pass it through the system, and here we have y1 of t. And if we give the input x1 of t and pass it through the system, then this will give us the value of y1 of t. If we have another input that is x2 of t and also pass it through the system, which is y2 of t, if we add these both inputs, then it gives us y1 of t plus y2 of t. This is our system for the law of additivity. And if we have another property with x1 of t and x2 of t, our system, and we add these two system here, and we pass the system through the system inputs. Basically these are the inputs, x1 of t and x2 of t, x1 of t plus x2 of t here. If we pass it through the system, then this will gives us the y2, which is y1 of t plus y1 or 2 of t. For the law of additivity to follow the linear system. Another property which we are going to discuss is the homogeneity property. Homogeneity property. Till now we just have only we just looking towards the detail of the systems. In the next lecture we will discuss about the examples more in detail, so that we may be able to understand all these things very clearly. So what is the law of homogeneity? For example, if we have the input x1 of t, x of t, and we pass it through the system, and it gives us the y of t. If we multiply this output by the constant k or any value alpha, then we get is alpha y of t. And for the same case, if we multiply our input with the constant alpha of t at the input level and pass this value through the system, then it must also have to give us the same value. This is also the law of homogeneity, that is alpha of x of t. We multiply this alpha at the input side and then pass it through the system, then it will also give us the y dash of t, which is should be equal to alpha y of t for the system to be linear. This value should be equal to alpha y of t for the system to be linear. These are the homogeneity properties. Let's look at the example of our system. Till now we have just discussed the linear property. In this again we will discuss it briefly. We are just looking towards the linear and non-linear system. What is the linear system? Linear system is that system which follows the principle of superposition. What is the principle of superposition? The principal superposition of is that which follows the two law. First law is law of additivity, and second law the law of homogeneity. If our system follows all these rules, is these two rules, then we can say this our system is homogeneous system. If our system and does not follow any one of rule, then we will say that our system is non-linear system. This is the linear system, this is the non-linear system. Let's look at the example of the systems, and we get it as, for example, we have our system y of t is equal to x of t square. Let's we have our system here. Now x1 of t will be passing through the system SYSTM system. My handwriting is not very well and good, then you know that it very well. So we pass it through the system, and then it gives us the y1 of t, which is also equal to x1 of t square, and then x2 of t, which is our second input, and pass it through the system. This gives us the y2 of t, which is equal to x2 of t square. Then what 1 of t plus y2 of t is equal to x1 of t square plus x2 of t square. This is the one side, left hand side. And then again we pass our system x1 of t plus x2 of t. We add these both signal and pass this to the system. And pass, sorry, it's just like some kind of the disturbance in the lecture. So we pass this x1 of t and x2 of t and pass it through the system, which is SYSTM system, and this gives us the value y dash of t. What is y dash of t? x1 of t square plus x2 of t square. Here we will look these basic properties, that the time scaling has no effect on the linearity. So time scaling has no effect on linearity of system. दिस इज़ फॉर द टुडे लेक्चर्स। अगर वीडियो अच्छा लगा तो इसे लाइक कीजिए, अगर वीडियो अच्छा नहीं लगा तो इसे डिसलाइक कीजिए। अगर आप भी आपका कोई मसला है तो नीचे कमेंट सेक्शन में लिखिए। आई विल बी वेरी हैप्पी टू आंसर दिस। थैंक यू वेरी मच।